Do you want an intro, Wispy?
An intro for what?
Uh, for yeah, right. Who needs that? All right, never mind. In summation, Wispy is an amazing artist on this Discord server, and outside of it, they're an even more outstanding artist. Frankly, due to the fact that they're just everywhere. They've been posting constantly on Newgrounds, Twitter, like anything under the sun. And let me say, their characters are extraordinarily good and fascinating. I don't know if you want to get in on that, Wispy, about kind of your OCs, your cool stories that you share and tell with the class.
Well, the thing is, there's not really much to say about it. It's like a small project I have on the side since I'm working on a comic that is playing in the same world as my OCs are, but this comic is going to be not NSFW. I just want to build an audience first, and that's why I made those characters that I use right now for social media, specifically only for porn.
Okay.
That's what I can say, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah. I don't know what your experience is, Wispy, as far as like trying to build an audience online. I mean, it tends to feel like um the only real way you can build, I guess, an audience online is to, I guess, what's a good word for it? It's just like, especially when you do, I guess not necessarily just specifically porn, but it feels like it's a quick little cheat to get ahead. But even then, especially now, it feels like it's not as easy as it once was to
Yeah.
sort of gain those kind of followers with just like porn or like
Oh,
anything really.
definitely. Like, ever since, like, Twitter started kind of trying to crack down on porn stuff, that's why every few months back, every Not Safe for Work artist got that notification that was like, your account is being fucked over, even though you already flagged it as not safe for work. Like, I got that a while back. I don't know if you got that, Wispy.
No, not yet, thankfully.
Oh damn.
But I know what you are talking about. The thing is just, I have the feeling that you just have to know how to make it and make like little strategies. I don't know to 100% yet, but I planned a few things for the future, and I just hope that it's going to work. If not, then this podcast will, or especially this episode will probably, um, yeah, just a little weird because I put just said so big words technically.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, because it's always been this thing. I think in memoriam, especially on the internet, it just keeps on ramping up. Where it's like it just seems like little by little, it just gets harder and harder to just post the things you want to post because it's not necessarily like there's barriers to entry being added. It's more like the internet as a whole is being slowly taken away from the little guy. That just sounds too dystopian, but like I think the biggest thing we can see like from all this is like with Internet 3 popping out, and then like, well, Flash is no longer supported technically, and things are more allocated towards like bigger platforms, and trying to make your own website doesn't seem reasonable anymore. When truth be told, I think a lot of people should start making their own websites again. I think we might actually see a big boom of people just making their own websites and saying like fuck it to like everything else because of just how washed down everything is.
I don't see people making their own websites because it's too complicated. Like, compared to just making a fucking, Facebook page.
Yeah.
Asking people to know one line of HTML is too much for most people, including someone like me. I don't see, like, maybe if there's if there's like a service that makes it as easy to make a website as it is to make like a YouTube channel, then maybe. But other than that, I don't really see that.
Yeah. It'd have to be like akin to like those make your own Minecraft server like websites. Like, and I guess that's what Squarespace and stuff like that is
I was gonna say, like,
for.
things like Wix and Squarespace are basically that, but it's like paid, so very few people are using them.
And on top of that, it's not really a good out, especially when it's like artists like us that make porn, because I'm pretty sure like Squarespace and stuff like that aren't too huge of fans of hosting porn.
Yeah, they're not like domain providers. They can still like kill you if they want to.
Yeah. It's just strange. Yeah, it's just strange being an artist online and posting not safe for work content now. More than it ever has, I think. I don't know if you've run into this, Tom, where it's like especially on Twitter now or X or whatever, where it's like you want to follow an artist, but then it says like, "Oh, you can't follow this artist because they have to like verify you." Have you run into that?
No, I haven't.
It's very specific. It's weird. It's like on a specific one I remember it happening on is like Spaz Kids fucking Twitter, where it's like you go
but isn't that I'm pretty sure that's the artist, the person who does that, not that's when the person makes their account private.
Yeah. It's weird. I don't know.
Maddie makes a good point about he said Matt makes a good point where he basically just said like he just joined a shitload of Discord servers and shared his stuff around that way, which is a lot more organic.
Mm-hmm.
And it does seem like a better way to spread yourself around than just posting on Twitter and crossing your fingers and praying. You know, at least that way you can see the impact. You can go on and say, "Hey, everyone, look at my art," and then see the numbers go up because of them. Plus, you make friends.
True.
Which is probably more valuable.
And you don't have to worry about censorship either, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of censorship, rather.
Censorship.
Yeah, Wiispy, I don't know if you want to talk about from where you're from, but if that's okay.
No, that's perfectly fine. I'm on. I think I put it in the bio in every website I'm on right now. I'm from Germany, by the way.
Yeah, your accent's pretty on point. I think people might have been able to tell already. But yeah, how's doing art in like in Germany? Like, is there any like weird things you're worried about when you're making stuff?
Actually, yes and no, kind of both. About the censorship thing, we don't really. It's not like illegal or something in Germany to make NSFW art. It's just kind of weird for the society. But on the other hand, it's as an artist, I think you can have like a good start in Germany since we have programs from the government to help artists out to make a living out of that. The thing is just it's pretty hard to get into it, and you have to prove to the government basically in Germany that you are like also super passionate about it and that art is the only thing you want to do. On the other hand, Germany is still a very expensive country, so it you will get money from the government once you want to become an artist and like start out, but you have to like pay everything back. It's like those student loans in the US, I think.
That's not a grant. That's just a loan.
Yeah, that is just a loan. Well, it's a loan from the government. A little different.
Well, yeah, that means they can't like just send you angry letters and you don't pay it back. They can just fucking arrest you.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
That's fascinating. I've never heard of like a cut. I guess that there are places like that do that where it's just like the starving artist grant, where it's like, hey, you know, if you do make it out good, then you could pay us back. That's
only America does art grants, and they're actual grants. They're
they just give you money.
Give you money. But like those are extremely rare. It's very hard to get those.
But like, is there any like weird like? Because I know like a good example that everyone can hone in on is like Japan, right? Where it's like, You have to censor a tit. You have to put a bar through the cock, a penis, so that people know it's not a penis when it clearly is. And it's like, I know in some European-esque countries and places of that nature, there's like a huge taboo around like more of the kind of seedy side of art, especially when it comes to like gore and stuff like that.
Nah, but not in Germany. The thing is, sure, things like CP and
I mean, yeah,
rape
that
and
goes
stuff like
without
this is
saying.
obviously for like illegal to draw or
Yeah,
pornography from this kind of stuff. But
Is it illegal to
like,
draw rape? Because it's not illegal to draw rape like here,
it,
unless fucking every
yeah.
artist over here is breaking the law.
I don't think it's
Not
I'm
every, but a
illegal.
lot of them.
I'm not sure about that. I wasn't even thinking about that, to be fair.
I think that would break our
Um,
freedom of speech law for some weird reason.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, like, because I know this is another classic thing everyone always brings up with Germany is like, it's also a thing in England or just like other places, like you can't like do Hitler stuff. You can't do cool swastikas. You can't like draw Buddhist symbols. For the longest time, I don't know if that's changing recently.
in Do you mean like in Germany right now or in England? I didn't
I
got
think
it
I think in
100%.
Germany they've decided to like be a little bit more lenient on the whole like no swastikas as imagery.
Oh yeah, you will instantly get arrested for that if you make
Oh,
like this hand raising thing or draw a swastika. You will instantly get arrested and you will be gone for a very long time.
damn!
That's fucking
Um,
crazy.
on the other hand, it's also
All
no
those
wait.
times,
I fucked up a little bit. I
you
just wanted to go back to the if there are other things illegal in the NSFW direction. Like I already said, no, and I also at the same time think that it's like uh, the society will still think that you are weird when you are drawing NSFW art in general, and they will make you feel it. So nobody talks about it when someone is drawing NSFW art. At
yeah,
the same time, and this is just a weird thing. It's kind of normal to post like nudity because we in Germany being nude is like the normal, most normal thing ever. As a child, you will already know how a grown-up naked body will look like. I mean, we
mhm,
have like those beaches here in Germany everywhere, there where you are forced to be naked. Actually, like
yeah.
you have to pay a fine if you don't, if you are like go there with pants, with wearing something. Um,
Including a baseball cap.
Basically.
Damn, that's crazy. Because I don't know if there's because we have nudist beach in America as well, but I don't know what this weird stipulation is where it's like you just can't go to a nudist beach closed. That's fucked up. You gotta go naked. You have to. It's the whole gimmick. But like,
I mean, I doubt that the fines are like. I don't think that a policeman runs up to you with his cock flopping around and says, "Stop right there."
yeah,
I
but
assume it's just whatever businesses
he would be
operate the
breaking the law because
beaches.
he has his utility belt on. See, so man, that would be hot though, Tom. A fucking a cock of a cop running towards me, being like, "You're not
Yeah,
nude enough," on a beach.
that reminds me. I love those like nude beach comics where it's like boners aren't allowed on the beach. So the way we fix that is whenever someone gets a boner, we send out a girl to suck them off.
Oh yeah, where'd you find that one, Tom?
There's like I've seen at least 3 or 4 comics with that exact premise.
That's good. I respect that.
It's a good one.
Yeah. I mean,
Is that accurate to your experiences, Wiispy?
yeah, going to nudist beach in Germany.
To be fair, I never was on a nudist beach myself,
You
so
haven't
I can't.
experienced the joys of being nude.
At a
Nah,
beach, no
not.
less.
What should I say? I just didn't have the chance for it, I guess. To know also. Well, I'm not the kind of beach guy. I prefer like cold places.
Well, you are in Germany.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't born here though.
Oh shit! Really?
Where were you born?
In Kazakhstan, and it was
damn.
like my parents told me it was like minus 40 degrees Celsius back then when I was born. So yeah, I looked very German though. That's what I can tell you guys. Like very very German. People that I meet in real life never expect me to speak fluent Russian or something like this. They always think that I'm just German.
That's so peculiar, especially because like you're from the funny place of Russia that everyone makes fun of because it's because of bull rat. I don't know if you know what bull rat is.
Yeah, of course I know. I personally think it's funny, but
yeah.
the other people in Kazakhstan doesn't really like this, especially the.
Well, yeah, it's just a bastardization of just like an entire culture through one guy.
I know.
It's very funny though. Man, bull rat. I tell you, my wife. You know, Tom, my wife.
Are you saying bull rat?
Yeah, I'm saying bull rat.
Why are you saying that? I was so confused for like 30 seconds. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What, you don't like the iconic movie of Bull Rat?
I'm gonna kill you if you say that one more time.
Okay, well, moving on. Instead of talking about iconic movies that involve people from Russia, Tom, I was gonna ask something of Wisp, and it's gonna be this. Wisp, I've noticed that you sometimes draw like full, like 8 full panel comics of your characters, and I was curious, like, is that just something you've always loved doing, or is it something you've tried to like make it a part of your habit of like improving your art?
So basically, there are a lot of things I want to learn because let me start completely over. I started to draw back in August 2020 when Corona was like very big, also in Germany, and that's when I decided to draw because of another artist. There's one artist you probably heard of him. He's pretty big. Dives.
Thieves, yeah.
Yeah, he basically inspired me to make art myself. Funny enough, I found it took me 7 months to find out that he's also making NSFW art. um, and
That's what most people know him for. I didn't even. Does he have a separate?
Yeah,
Safe
he
for Work
does a
account?
lot of safe for work stuff too.
I kind of knew he did, but I didn't realize it was like separated out into a separate account.
Well, I found him on Instagram to be fair, and posting NSFW art on Instagram is pretty hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, my goal was just also to make like a world and animations. The goal changed over the time into different directions, but I basically want to just want to become an artist. That's kind of my passion now. That's why I'm making comics, because I personally like comics, and it's just like one big project that I can keep focusing on instead of just normal illustrations. And in the future I will also try to animate finally.
That's kind of crazy to hear, Wispy, that you so you started actually like doing art during like the bad times, the Corona times, which would imply that you've only been doing art for like 3, maybe 4 years coming up. It's like that I think that's really impressive because you look like someone who's been drawing for like about as long as Tom's been drawing, if not a little less. Like you're good. Like you're really good. is
Thank
it just
you. That's yeah.
I was gonna so like were you doing anything besides art during like the Corona? Like were you just like, oh, I can't work anymore, so I'll just focus on doing art like completely?
Well, that's how to explain it is in the best way. Basically, back then when I started, I still had to do a lot of things. For example, I was working back then as a baker in the bakery, so I had still to work full time. I still did other things because we had I don't know if you guys also have that in the US. It's like a separate house that you buy for yourself, and that is which, or not house, it's like a very tiny house, but you have like a lot of land, so you can just work a lot of plants, growing trees and stuff like this. That's also the thing I did because you were like alone back then, and I learned to draw like the basics for 4 hours to 6 hours per day, like every day. For 8 months
Holy
straight,
shit.
I had like 3 to 4 hours of sleep every day, just because I really, really, really wanted to become
What?
an artist.
That's
Wait,
amazing.
hold the phone. You subtracted the ability to like you just were like I'm only gonna sleep 4 days so that you could focus more on art.
No, 4 hours per day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you allowed yourself to only sleep for 4 hours per day so that you could draw
It
more.
it was not really that I allowed myself only to sleep for that long. It was just that I learned or was studying at the end of the day usually, and I just wanted to continue. I told myself always just one more thing, just one more drawing until I had only like 4 to 5 hours, or sometimes even 3. And I still wouldn't recommend to do the same thing. I mean, yeah, sure, I learned a lot in that time. I had like a very huge boost, but after 8 months, I had like a small burnout,
Yeah.
so
Hmm.
I wasn't able to do anything. And since I'm an idiot, I started the same thing again. Well, I'm not drawing as much anymore
That's
compared to
yeah.
back then, but yeah.
I'll say this much, like, because we haven't really mentioned COVID like ever on this podcast. It's like a weird turning point. I'll say in like the world globally, right? I don't think that's far fetched to say, but like it was definitely a period in time where I think a lot of people could have like or actually did like obtain like insanely crazy skills because they just because it wasn't you didn't have the ability to like hang out with your friends anymore like in real life like that was just like a no-go and then it was either like you worked or the government paid you to not work or you had to just figure out a way to live without like connecting with people in real life so it tended to be you did stuff like art like for me I was lucky enough to like have like a shit ton of work I had to do because of the simple fact that no one was going to work except for me. So I just ended up like working insane hours during COVID and making like a shit ton of money. But I think if my job wasn't as essential as they said it was, I would have probably just been doing a shit ton of art or being depressed. uh, what was your experience like during COVID, Tom? I'm curious.
Mine sucked. I was just like, at first I was like, this is great. I don't have to go to school anymore. I can do all these. I have so much free time. I can draw. At first, like when it was starting, I drew an insane amount because I've always just like drawn during classes, even in school.
Hmm.
So when I was on like my PC, I just like had Clip Studio Paint open in like the other window constantly. But I feel like COVID times was when I had some like first of all, that was when I failed out of school because I
Yeah.
just like it became like when I was in school, it had gotten bad enough that a couple times I just sat in my car and waited for classes to end. You can imagine how much easier it gets to ignore your like responsibilities when it's just like a Zoom call.
Hmm.
Um, so I ended up just like failing a bunch of classes and being. It was this weird thing where I never even talked to like my parents about it. We just kind of had this quiet understanding of like, yeah, you're not going back for another semester, are you? Uh,
I wouldn't have even
um,
paid for another semester because it would have been the same shit. Like,
well, I mean, yeah. The thing is, like, it should have been ridiculously easy to just pass. It's just mental shit. That's why I want to go back to some kind of college at some point.
hmm.
Uh, but after that, I just got really like depressed and like laid around playing video games all day and didn't draw that much. And I got like a lot of art blocks.
Damn.
So when I look back on COVID, I would have to think more about it because there were good parts. There were definitely really good parts during COVID where like I was really pumping out a lot of great art. But what I remember, like what I carry with me from that is just being like I was really depressed and didn't draw much, and I feel like I squandered the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want to hone it back on this, Wispy, but you said that during COVID you lived in like a tiny house, like on a large plot of land that the government gave you, like what or
No,
that
no,
you
it's
had. Like what?
nah. Okay, look. So basically, this is a thing in Germany that's called Strebergarten, and it's like a hobby thing that you can buy for your own money. Um, like it's like a very very tiny hut. There are like a lot of those tiny huts next to each other, and everyone has like their big piece of land. It's very cheap, but because yeah, you can't really do anything there. It's not enough space for like animals, but you can at least grow like paprika over there, pumpkins, some flowers, trees, stuff like this. And my family, I already mentioned that I'm from the east of, well, it's not even Europe anymore. I'm from Central Asia,
Mm-hmm.
but from a post-Soviet state. That's those post-Soviet states have the same things over there actually because Germany overtook that idea, and that's why it was the first thing my family bought when we arrived in Germany, um, and that's just a place I go to when it well not right now it's too cold, but on the weekends I just go there and do gardening work or
Yeah,
we are building on our house. Like last year, we built a second story for just for fun, actually.
That's
that's
cool.
cool. Yeah.
That's really cool.
How many?
Building a second story just for fun, that's insane.
Yeah, that's what my family, or at least my father's family, did when they. Because I have something similar. I was curious though, like how many like not acres, because I don't know if you guys do acres, because that's like an American thing, or is it? But like, do you know how like big like
I know what that is. We have also the same things in German. We use the same measurement, but we use two different ones basically. And I can't tell you how much it is in acres, but I can tell you how big it is in square meters. It would
yeah?
be
What's the
like
square
700, I
meters on
think.
that?
700 square meters.
700 square meters. So if I did the math right, um, 2 acres. I think that would come out to around well 0.7. Yeah, that is pretty fucking small, huh?
Yeah, you
Point
can do
17.
a lot there.
That's not even like a quarter of an acre. That's like a quarter of a quarter. So that's like an
About a
eighth of an
fifth.
acre, I think.
Yeah.
That is small. That's so weird cuz like so okay, so this is going to sound like I'm a rich oil baron to you, but like I live in a place that is roughly 33 acres. And I guess if I converted that to square meters for you real quick, that would be 133,546 square meters. So that's a lot. That's just a big number. But like yeah, I couldn't imagine. So wait, okay, so you built there's a second story. I guess that would make sense. Yeah, if you don't have any land like to build outward, it makes sense to go up. But like,
No, that's
damn,
the thing. You're not supposed to live there. You're literally not supposed to live there. It should be just enough space to sleep there. We have also a TV in the kitchen there and a toilet, obviously, but no internet, nothing. It's very far out on the countryside. So I live in a ginormous city. I live in Hamburg.
yeah,
Um, the air pollution is not very good here. That's why that's another reason why we bought it. This place. And the only thought process you have is when you buy one of those things in Germany is, do I want to make gardening work just to relax on the weekends? That's it. You're like,
yeah.
I think it's even illegal to live in those houses in Germany because you don't even have really an address.
Oh shit, that's so strange. So it's not even like I guess
So
that doesn't make
you're able to
sense.
purchase a piece of land that you own, but you can't live in it. That's so weird. I guess that's what you have like with a business or something, but still.
Yeah, it's zoning stuff, right? Because like in America, the way it works is places are zoned out when they're in kind of city-esque areas. So like there's like the city areas where you work, and that's called it's not it's industry. It's it's stuff where you work because you can't live where you work. But then the residential areas it's called residential, and that's where people live. And it's even in America, like residential areas, it tends to be like you have like 3/4 of an acre, which means like you have a pretty decent sized house, and then like maybe like a front and a back yard. Um, and
I
like
think we have like a third of an acre.
yeah, it tends to be around 3 to maybe like 1 acre, which is like it. If we're putting in the terms of like that, the nice like farm area you have, Wispy, it's like it wouldn't even be like it'd be like 6 times the size. Like I think that's the math on that. So it's basically the way you describe it. It kind of sounds like it's just like a nice little retreat area to like return back to nature, right?
Yeah, basically,
That's kind of
that's really
nice.
what it is.
Is it?
Um,
I guess the reason it's like worked out that way is so that you don't end up having like this weird crawl of people just living out there, and then it just turns into a city.
no, not really. I, the thing is, we have the same things also in cities. Just because they are so small, they are just even smaller inside of the cities. They're usually like next to parks and stuff like this.
Oh,
Um, I think the reason why most people do that or buy those things is just, well, it's it's nice to live in a city,
mm-hmm.
in a big city. For me personally too, because I'm a very social person, a very extroverted person. Where I speak German, obviously, and in my city. But even I sometimes just need a little bit of rest of a big population because, well, my city has like 2 million. There are 2 million people living in my city, and it's just too crowded. You don't even have really space for your head.
Yeah, there's like this weird call to the wild that I think a lot of people get where it's just like you just keep on seeing concrete or you just keep on seeing like buildings and people and you're just like I just want to see something green. I just want to like breathe in air that's not like has gasoline or like petrol just like wafted in with it. I just want to smell something that's not like gunky.
Mm-hmm.
But that's crazy. Yeah, cuz like in America it tends to be there's like community gardens or like we do a lot of gardening indoors. That's where hydroponics kind of comes into play a lot. It's a very popular thing in America where you grow with just water, um, and nutrients. It's a fascinating process, but like yeah, there's not like a whole lot of people in America that are like starved for nature because like there's just so much land in America that it's like you could
Well,
literally
also
go anywhere.
the other thing is also just that the way the economy is in America right now, the idea of owning any property at all, like any amount of land, is like absurd and is very difficult to do. So the idea of just being like, oh yeah, I also own this other plot of land and I just have it for fun is like to us. I assume that the economy is different in Germany, which allows that to work. It's not just that everyone's richer in Germany, obviously. Uh, but for an American hearing that, you go, "What the fuck? You can just buy like a little plot of land just for fun, and you're not ultra wealthy? Like, how the fuck does that work?"
Yeah, I think well, the way Wispy described it, right? It is like a
Mhm.
literally small plot of land. Like it's smaller
Well,
than
yeah, but
you would.
the thing is, like in America, even right, like in America, if you because of the way the land is cut up, if you're buying a tiny, tiny plot of land, it means that it has been zoned that way to be tiny for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Which probably means it's in a high demand area and will still be ridiculously expensive, even though it's so small.
Yeah. No.
Well,
Unfortunately, I would love the idea of just being like, yeah, you just bought a tiny little plot and I can do whatever I want with it.
Well, you can't do whatever he wants with
Well,
it, apparently.
I could build like nukes and shit, but you know, I'd probably mainly garden.
Yeah, mainly garden. Maybe some nuclear fission on the side. But like, I think that's where the whole tiny house movement kind of sprung up from, Tom, right? Where it's just like, you don't need much to live to begin with, to truthfully, right?
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. It's like companies went, oh, the tiny house movement, let's capitalize on that. And now tiny plots of land are just expensive as big ones because they think tiny house people are going to buy them.
I could buy like 3/4 of an acre for like 5,000 in Missouri right now, which isn't like insanely bad. It's also not insane. What do you mean? Why though?
I said 5,000. Like here in New Jersey, if you were buying like any amount of land, like more than a third of an acre, it would probably be like $100,000.
Yeah, it's because it's fucking location based. Like, yeah, that goes without saying. I think anyone, especially like anyone listening to this podcast, right, who's like wistfully wanting to like just escape society, or not even that, or just like finally make it out on their own, because it's really fucking drab right now. Where it's like you look at property, you look at houses that are built, and it's like not only are they like clearly over the asking price, it's just like this is not how much a house actually would cost to not even build on your own. Like there's ways to go about it, and truth be told, like my grandfather, who was not a carpenter, was very much able to build his house and make a plot of land for himself for his poor family, and like he was poor like that's just how what it was. And yet he was still able to build like a 2-story house over time, and like have all these like things slowly built over time. And I think not to like goat people into thinking like, yes, all you have to do is just do this stuff over time, it'll just works out. But like I think there's a lot more resources out there to allow people to like build their own houses like way better than how my grandpa did. And truth be told, my grandpa did pretty all right for never having taken like a carpentry school, because the house is still standing. Yeah, I'm having to fix it every once in a while, but like that's just normal house shit. Right?
Thing is, there's so much like code and everything now.
Code.
Like, first of all, like people are way more busy with like they're just jobs. People are spending like fucking 60 hours a week at like work, and then probably going to school or something after that.
Yeah, when you're
and
young.
They're just trying to like keep up with life. Well, just in general, just in life up until their death. Pretty usually. But also just the fact that like back then, like when was this? Like the fucking 40s or something, 60s.
It would have had to been, I want to say like the 70s.
Oh, okay, so that's more like comparable to today, I guess.
Yeah, but like
I don't know. It's just today. Like, if you tried to build your own, I don't think you'd even be allowed to build your own house.
What are you talking about?
Like,
Yeah, of course you are. No, Tom, you're silly.
Saying I couldn't like throw down wood and say like this is my house now. Fucking every government agency would come down and be like, do you have permits? Do you have a license?
No,
for this?
that's not how that works. So yeah, no, because Tom, here's the thing, right? You need permits when it comes to things that are actually zoned. Like if you're building in a residential area, yeah, you need permits for specific things, and depending on the state, yeah, you need different permits. But like, if you go to like bumfuck nowhere farmland, and you buy a plot of land where it's like, dude, yeah, it doesn't matter. Even if you were trying to build like a nuclear power plant, you tend to not need to like permits. Well, okay, I'm exaggerating here, because like if you did build a nuclear power plant, you'd have to do a lot of fucking like tests and shit, and you'd have to like determine if you were gonna like cause pollution around the area when you built this thing. But like if you're just building a house for like a family of 6 out in the middle of relatively nowhere, like there's a road and there's a gravel road that goes to your plot of land, then it's like, yeah, you don't need a permit for shit. Like it's on you if the house falls and breaks and kills you. Like, it's not like when the house falls, it's gonna like cause damage to other houses around it because you're the only house for miles, like quite literally miles, right? So you don't need permits for shit like that.
But you do, because most of the
No, you
code is
don't.
about individual. Yet,
Tom,
but you
I've been a
do, because
residential carpenter for 5 years. I know
most
when
of the
you
code,
need
at least
permits
in
and when
like
you don't.
electric. Okay, that's great. In electrical, most of the national code is about personal individual safety, not just about like preventing fires. That's what it was originally created for, but a lot of it is about like a person getting shocked or something like that, which
Mm-hmm.
isn't going to affect other properties. It's only going to affect the residents. It's the same reason that like now
Yeah.
residential homes all need like tamper resistant like outlets.
Tamper resistant outlets? What do you mean by that?
Yeah. There's outlets that are tamper resistant. It's the ones
Like
that
I
have the
can't
little
remove
like
the panel?
no,
Like
that
what?
you can't stick a fork into it.
Oh, well that's just
Like
an outlet. That's just
it
an
has the
updated
little
version of an outlet.
what?
That's
There's
just that's just technology evolving to be safer.
no, it's not. But it's required that you use that type of outlet in a residential home.
Well, I'm not getting sued as it stands right now.
Yeah,
So
because your house already is like that. What I'm saying is like if you're building a new house or you're doing an updated renovation or something,
but
you
chances
need to
are you're
get
not going to
those.
use old outlets. You're going to buy new outlets, right?
No, you don't. You don't understand. You can still buy outlets that aren't tamper resistant, and you can still use them in certain areas, just not residentially.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you're building, because that's the thing though, farmland isn't residential. It never is.
But if you live there, then it's a residence, is it
No,
not?
it's not. No, it's not. It's not zoned as one.
What?
Yeah, no, Tom, you don't
You
understand.
live there.
No,
It's
because
you're not like selling the meat or anything.
no, that's the thing though, Tom. You don't understand. When you're like out in the middle of nowhere and you have a plot of land, there's no zoning committee to be like zone this out, please. It's like it's
But
literally
it's
like
not
no
about
man's
zoning.
land.
It's like safety requirements for when you're installing certain things.
Yeah,
At least that's how it is in electrical.
there's rules to follow. Yeah, I think we're getting too far out of our thing with this, but all I'll say is you tends to be you don't need permits when you're out in the middle of nowhere. um, that's just how it goes.
I don't think it's that you don't need it. I think that's that no one will come and look because you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's also another thing. That's just the rule of thumb, right? If the only person you're gonna harm is yourself, then it tends to be your fine. um, I guess yeah. So wait, so yeah,
Give me something
Wiispy,
to
how
draw
did that work when you guys added a second story to your building? Like, did you like have to talk to someone or like do
Well,
anything?
that's the thing. This small community is still has rules, and we are more like a club at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
because we have like a lot of communities spread all over Germany in that regard. And there's always like a club leader. Those people, it's usually a very old pair of like married couple, and are they're making rules because they want that everything looks similar, like building wise, style wise, what kind of plans we have, that they are not like too high, you know. I think the cap in our club is like 2 meters and 20 centimeters or something for like regular bushes.
Mm-hmm.
And what we had to do when we bought this piece of land, there was already a hut, and we just ripped it basically apart. And for the second story, because we would just have too much mass of building and not enough mass of for gardening place anymore, we had to destroy our shower because we had like a separate small building only for the shower, the place where we showered.
Okay.
And once we did that, we were able to just build a second story. And the people that are making the rules didn't had anything against it, since my grandparents were already for a very very long time part of this club. And my dad, not my dad, my grandpa had a lot of experience with working with wood, so they just trusted my grandpa, and we planned it out and just built the second story. That's it.
That's nice. That's cool. I like that. Yeah, we have something similar in America. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's really bad. It's called HOAs. It's like homeowners association.
They're usually pretty bad.
Yeah, in the more rural areas that are trying to be kind of like that, they're a lot better. Where cause like the way it works is, yeah, they have like stipulations where it's like, yeah, you got to bring your trash cans in at this hour, or you can't have a fence this tall, or something like that, or like you have to like cut your grass at least like once a week. Small stuff like that, nothing crazy. Like it's just house maintenance stuff that you probably do like on your own. You don't
No,
really
a
need.
lot of them have insane, ridiculous rules. Even like areas that don't have HOAs will
Yeah.
sometimes have ridiculous rules. Like we don't have an HOA, but our town has like HOA like rules where like we have like a graveled part of our driveway that we
Hmm.
were parking our car in. And the HOA decided it wasn't graveled enough, so we aren't allowed to park our car in that part of the
Did they
yard
did they
anymore.
count the amount of gravel you had?
I think they had someone had some like cunt drive around the fucking
That's so
neighborhood
silly.
and check all the houses.
It
I
probably
also
just,
remember like it's more fucked up. Like I get it with what Wispy is talking about, where it's like it's basically super miniature like vacation homes.
yeah.
It's really obnoxious when like it's your actual residence, it's the place that you spend your life, and they're like we had one house in our neighborhood, and kind of like a tucked away part of the neighborhood too, like a side road that just like painted a bunch of polka dots on their house because they were like, fuck it, let's have some fun, and they made them paint over it, and it's
That's
like, dude,
silly.
what? Come on, like why do you guys hate fun this much? What, it's gonna hurt the property value because that house has polka dots? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's not even how property value tends to work out. It's interesting. Like, not a lot of people talk about this. It's so weird. We're talking about like fucking property on a art
Yeah,
podcast, but like, I
it's
guess
interesting.
it's important. I think, especially for like starving artists who want to like become independent,
Mhm.
right? That you eventually want to have like a place of your own, and like you don't want to like be drawing in your parents' house until
Yeah,
like you're 40. But like,
unless you can inherit it.
oh my god, don't even, Tom. Don't even with that. Okay, here's the fallacy with inheritance, right? I'll say this much. As someone who's had that like wistful dream in their eye, like I've had plenty of people in my life die in house fires like constantly, to where it's like, yeah, that shit's not getting passed down. It's all ash and like cinder. So it's like I've definitely,
Jesus.
yeah, I've definitely had like that realization in my life where it's like nothing's truly guaranteed in life. So I should probably just work towards my own thing and make sure that it's safe and it won't catch on fire. But like um this stuff I think is important when it comes to like being more kind of just able to produce stuff on your own without having to worry like, am I gonna make rent tomorrow, drawing this fucking Rouge the Bat pussy. It's like, well, if you were able to like own your own property, and not only that, but like not like build your own house, but at least figure out a way, or like find someone to help you like build your own house so that it's livable, like that you can have a shower, you have electricity, you have like basic internet, so that you can actually do that the stuff you need to do to like survive off of art.
Hmm.
I think that's really worth your while when it comes to like the stuff we're talking about, because truth be told, you don't need much to do art like at all, and you don't need much to make money off of doing it either. Like,
Hmm.
there's people out here that do traditional art, and they just send a picture to a person and then they get paid. Like,
That's what I do.
yeah, that's what Tom does. He literally does that, and he makes bank doing it. In my opinion, he could be making a lot more if he.
I could be making a lot more if I was more consistent with it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be picking. I'm getting pretty confident with it. I'm like a little bit behind, but not nearly as bad as I used to be.
Mm-hmm. It's all about new leaves, guys. We're turning over new leaves. The same thing with Wispy, and like doing more
Hmm.
cool art with
Speaking of
focus.
that,
Yeah.
that's a good transition. Wiispy, what's your experience with that side of art, like commissions and stuff like that?
Sorry, I didn't understand what you just said.
Sorry, what's your experience with like that kind of like more businessy side of art, like doing art commissions?
Well, I didn't pay that many commissions yet, since I basically had an account before and I deleted it because of stupid reasons. And when I started over again, I'm currently at, I don't know, I think 600. Yeah, 600 followers. So there's not a, a big. There are not probably not that many people interested in it. And the only commissions I had were just people that commissioned me because I had a little problem. My pen display broke down, so I had to make emergency commissions. And right afterwards, I stopped doing them. I closed them instantly because I want to work on my growth first. And yeah, so the only experience I had with commissions was just the emergency thing, but it worked out well. I even had more money afterwards than I needed, which was actually pretty cool.
That's good.
And I don't know, I can probably tell you later because in like middle of March I'm going to open them again. Yeah.
Ooh,
Okay.
I'll have to stick around for that. You have to let me in on that. I'd be down to pay for some cool art from you. You got a nice thing going. I'll say, Wispy. That's why you're on this podcast. Yeah, I definitely like. Yeah, anyone listening to this episode, it might come out around the time that you actually do start doing commissions because we're a bit backlogged. I'll say, like, I'm not gonna reveal the time and dates that we're recording this stuff, but like, yeah, that'd be I'd love to see that. I'd love to see you make some more money off of art because fucking God knows your art deserves it. But yeah, uh, I've never accepted money for art ever. I think people have known this on the podcast. Cause like, I. I don't know what it's this weird thing I have where it's like I feel sorry for the people I work for or that I get money from. So like I can never like disassociate with that. So it's like, especially when I was doing carpentry for myself and like doing my own business stuff, like I always just got I always felt sorry for the people I was doing work for, and then I would throw them a bone, and then it would just end up being like I was out money, which is never good in a business. You shouldn't be a charity if you're trying to make money. But like,
I exactly know what you meant by that because back then when I was doing those emergency commissions, I had like super low prices because I wasn't confident doing it. Just I don't know, it just didn't felt right to purchase people a lot of money for the work I did. But just to tell you honestly how it is beforehand, while I was those underpriced commissions, I realized that my work is way more worth than I thought because I don't know, I spend way too much time on these drawings, especially with all the corrections you are doing while you're doing the commission. It's not easy for you.
I was telling Tom the exact same thing earlier, which, granted, not to speak on behalf of Tom, but as far as I'm aware, the reason Tom is doing these kind of smaller commissions in general isn't so that he can make money necessarily. It's so that he can build that proper workflow and ethic of being like, I can get this thing out in a timely manner, and like the person's happy, he's happy, and everyone's happy.
Yeah. And something I'll say this also taught me, which I didn't expect it to, or not so much taught me, but just reminded me is a problem I have is I'm really bad at like laying out the stipulations for my commissions. So like for example, I'm doing $5 commissions right now just to like get in the workflow and like have it's intentionally super cheap. I know it's underpriced, but I'm also only doing sketches. So like normally for my sketches I would charge like $20 for a full body. Right now I'm doing $5 just so I can like get in the flow. But even then like I'll end up in these situations where I say up it's $5 for a sketch and they go okay and they give me something that's like outside of the purview of what I would usually do. that are what like this $5 commissions are for. Like, for example, 2 characters instead of 1 character interacting, which instantly makes it so much more complicated and outside of the scope of what I would usually want to do. But I'm really bad at saying no and being like, "Oh, no, 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 I'm sorry. That's not. It's for single characters. If you want to do multiple characters, it's like significant. That would be like normal commission price, because it makes it so much more complicated. Uh, but what ends up happening instead is I'm like being too nice, and then I end up just doing it. But now I've set the precedent that I'll just do it. Uh, so they'll ask for like another commission of like 2 characters, and it's like shit. I've gotten myself into a cycle here. Uh,
Um,
I've
yeah.
done that before too. Like it's something that you want to be very clear about. If someone asks you for something that's like a little bit more than you were expecting to bite off, you need to instantly be like either like lower your expectations to something more reasonable or pay me significantly more.
That's what you have to tell these persons. I mean, I had
Yeah.
also this thing with. I also had a very hard time saying no. That led to a person that I also made one of those emergency commissions that it constantly wanted to change everything about the
Oh,
drawing I was
that's
doing,
Oof.
and not even
I'm
only in the sketching part. I mean, he was also constantly making wanted to make me changes to the drawing while I was doing the line art, and even after coloring and rendering.
That's fucked
And
up.
yeah, um, the but this is like the person where then at
yeah.
the end I also said no, because the thing is you're screwing yourself. It's okay, in my opinion, when you like change one or two things and like let questions or favors for the commissioner slip, because you of course don't want to lose this commissioner. But you also have to stand up sometimes. That's also a thing I
Yeah.
just had to learn
It's
first.
it's something that's hard to find the line for because like there's certain things that I'm totally fine. Like for my sketch commissions, for example, I had someone who asked like, "Can you draw this thing?" But also like do make an alt where the face of the character is this other character. Like just swap their head out with this other character's head for an alt.
Oh my
And I
god.
was just like, for that one, because it was a sketch and because I'm a character artist, so I'm very good at like slapping together character faces. I was like, yeah, I can do that. I'll just add that into the commission just as an extra thing because it's so small. But I could totally see like seeing something else like that that ends up not being nearly as small, but I thought it was, or like I just want
Mhm.
to be nice. Like, you know, alts. I could totally see alts adding up and just ending up like, wait,
Yeah.
I did like 6 different commissions worth of work and only got paid for one.
It's a death by a thousand cuts. That's the biggest thing
Mm-hmm.
I'll say is like if you are an artist doing commissions, I'll say this much. Allow for like maybe like 1 or 2 revisions if it's like
Yeah,
if it's clearly like they want something different, but it's like that should all be like set in stone after like the sketching phase, truth be told. And like
yeah,
the only changes that need to be made, especially if it's like something that's getting colored or something that is like if you do the flat coloring and then you show the person, they're like, is this flat coloring good? And they're like, yes, this is perfect. And then you go into the shading phase and then you show them everything that's been finished. They're like, oh, actually, I wanted their fucking skin tone to be this, and I wanted the flat tones on this to be that. And it's like,
mm,
well, you should have said that earlier when I said this. It's like, come on, guy. It's like,
yeah.
and then
I
at
think
that,
it's
yeah.
good to be people like their commission sheets to be very simple. And I agree. I think that you should have a nice, clean, simple commission sheet, but I think that you should have a part of it somewhere that's just text that lays out the stipulations, like
Mm-hmm.
I'll do this many revisions. After that, revisions cost extra.
Yeah.
Uh, extra characters will cost this much. So if it's a $10 commission, it doesn't only become 20 because you added a second character. There's more to it than that.
Mm-hmm.
That's also, I think, I actually want to talk about like the designs of commission sheets themselves, because I totally understand what you just said. That commission sheets should be, if I understood it right, very simple, because it's just a good thought process. Let's just be
Mhm.
honest, people that are going to the internet, we are all NSFW artists here. and
Yeah.
they don't want to think, they just want to see, and they don't have a big attention span. So if you write a whole blog in there how to commission you, it just won't work. You will get
Yeah.
less customers.
Well, it's
But
also just information communication. Like simplicity is key in that kind of thing.
Yeah, you should
yeah, but
treat.
that's
Hmm?
yeah.
I was okay. So I think in general, I think the way a commission sheet should work, right, is this: it should be able to lay out like the bare bones basics of like how much things will just generally cost, right? But then the moment you need to get into the weeds of like what that actually means, especially when it comes to things like revision stuff, like Tom's talking about, is that's the kind of stuff that's like on the back of the commission sheet, right? That's the kind of stuff that's not the eye candy. That's the more like if this person generally does want to commission you, like they'll go out of their way to read this, right? Or they'll go out of their way to like when they talk to you and you give them you like re-up them on like, hey, just so you're aware, this is what's on the commission sheet. Like any revisions after like 2 are gonna cost you extra, and they understand that, and they're like, yes, I still want to commission you. That's when you understand you have, I would presume, a good, a good, just a good anyone to like make money with off of, right?
Mm-hmm.
The moment someone understands your rules and can repeat them back to you, then it's like, yeah, they'll understand what they're gonna get, and they can't be like pissy about it or disappointed about it because you literally have the receipts to show them back. Like, hey man, we talked about this like at the day one before I was even drawing your shit. Like, this is the stipulations that I work by, right?
I actually have a third idea for commission sheets, like not a very extended one and not a very short one, like a very simple one. Am I allowed to talk to say names of other artists here?
Of course.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay. I was talking to a guy called Kesar. He's actually in the voice chat right now. I see that.
Okay.
I was talking to him, and I think it's a cool way to do it. Basically, the idea, and this is also how I'm going to make my commission sheet in the future, is we are artists, right? So we are supposed to, we are supposed to work creative. So why we just don't make it different? I mean, the way I'm going to do it is basically just a small comic. How to commission me, like with different panels. Character of
Oh,
mine
that's
or see or
fun.
something is going
That sounds
going to
cool.
explain it. So it
Plus,
looks
that'll be a
cool.
lot really attention grabbing.
Mm-hmm.
And another idea would be that that's how the other artist told me that he's going to do it. He's going to draw a do you know like those pixelated games, adventure games, where you can go into a shop to buy magic stuff or something like this?
Yeah.
He wants to do it that way. So you're like in a pixelated magic shop to buy commissions. And I think
That's
those are
cool.
like the things how you can make your commission sheet just stand out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, make it like a
Yeah.
fun experience for someone to actually like spend money. Like that's what everyone else does. Like when it's not art, like I mean that's what fucking McDonald's does, right? They're like, oh dude, check out this cool thing you can do with McDonald's, and they're like, well, I want to do that cool thing, so then you spend money at McDonald's. It's like, yeah, why not do the same thing with your art, just but more interesting, right? I really like the concept of like doing like a whole like panel or like comic of just like this is how you can commission me, and you can have like cool little side stuff too, where it's like I know for the fact Tom would love this, where it's like just like a girl doing a commission and then like she's also getting railed. Like Tom would love that. He would eat that up.
I've
But like,
drawn stuff like that with Isabel.
yeah.
Whenever I like, there are times where like I let Isabel get really self-inserty.
Mm-hmm.
Like for the server banner where it's just her like at a tablet with like a dull expression. That's just me when I'm drawing.
Yeah. That's me when I'm drawing Tom. I see myself in her.
I think that was the intention was for people to see that and be like, that's just me when I'm drawing.
That's me for real.
That's me FR.
I need we need to like make some memes out of that, Tom. We need to put some bold text, some top text, some middle text, some bottom text, maybe
Yeah.
some back text. You can't read it.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I was supposed to turn this into like a thing for like a stream. Like there's like I don't remember if it was gonna be like one of those waiting things or maybe just something in the corner. but it was gonna be. I was just going to add one extra frame where the hand is slightly different, so it looks like she's like it's like a little GIF
You could
that I could put in
also,
streams and stuff.
not to go crazy, Tom, but I could do some cool After Effects shit where it's like cool blur, like dust particles, like it's the literal it'd just be verbatim, just copying the whole fucking like anime girl studying lo-fi beats. It's like
Yeah.
it'd just be that, but like
Yeah,
lo-fi
that was kind
drawing.
of the idea of it, like that, but for art.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I'd
That
love
would be
that.
cool for like a, we'll be back soon, like stream thing if we ever did streams, or just for my
Yeah.
own personal streams.
I mean, I'm telling you this, Tom. You can do this. You can do this podcast as a live stream on YouTube if you genuinely
Yeah.
wanted to. I'm just too lazy for that.
Yeah, I might do that the next stream because like I'm not really drawing any porn because I don't want to. I don't want to give you more shit to censor.
That's fine. It's easy. You saw me do it. It's not like the
Yeah.
hardest thing in the world. It's just moving shape.
It's
It's
what I realized was because of the way it's being censored. It's like not only does it give you extra work, but also it means that there are large swaths of episodes that there's no like visual. At least there's obviously visuals. Your environments look great, but like there's no the art isn't
there's no
there. The
art
dynamic
drawing.
art.
Yeah. Which to be fair, I think as far as the way, not to get too into like the meta of like our podcast, especially since it's so new, but like as far as I could tell, and I think a lot of people can agree on this with podcasts, it's like even if there's like visual elements for like the first hour, you're probably going to end up like drifting somewhere else, and it tends to be, Tom, when you do start to draw porn, it's like an hour in, and so it's like I don't think a lot of people are going to notice.
Yeah.
But it's just things to think about. It's nothing overly complicated. And like I said, if this does go anywhere, I would love to just put like uncensored versions of the podcast just out on like a Patreon or just like our own website. I would love to make our own website. That'd be fun. But yeah, there's just cool stuff like that. But right now we're just chill. We're just having fun. We're having fun with Wiispy. Do you get up to fun, Wiispy? I not to sound
I actually was very nervous when the podcast started, but yeah, I kind of have fun. I'm very relaxed right now. It's very chilled atmosphere.
Your internet is breaking up really bad.
No, his internet's fine for me, Tom. Fuck you.
What?
Oh.
No, what?
Oh, you're both back.
Yeah, that's a Tom thing. No, don't worry about it, Wiispy. But yeah, well, besides having fun on this podcast, do you have like fun like anywhere else? Like, because I know from what it sounds like, not because we haven't talked much just in general, but like from what it sounds like in this podcast, it's like you just like you're always on that grind doing stuff. I know you said you like doing social stuff, like just being with people.
I didn't got what you said. You kind of cut off for me.
Oh dang! So like in general, what's like some fun stuff you like doing? Because I know you said you love like being around people. Like you're a very social person. Like you go out to bars and stuff.
One second.
Oh no! I think we might need to end the podcast here. Oh no! Oh no! Yeah, it's fine if we have to end the podcast here. Hello. Is anyone saying anything?
Spark, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Tom. Did Discord just have a?
Hear you.
Oh shit!
I'm pretty sure it's on my end.
Okay. Hold on. Yeah, hopefully this won't desync anything. All right. Can you hear me, Tom?
I heard you say, "Can you hear me, Tom?" But it was very broken up, and I had to like piece it together in my brain.
Well, I think needless to say, I think we had a pretty good podcast, and I think we could wrap it up. We did record for an hour-ish, so
yeah, like you're like coming back like a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that's just I'm getting lucky with how it's like being broken.
lucky for me, none of you guys broke audio, so everything sounds good on my end. There's just no one was able to hear anyone at the very end. Which, granted, all I was gonna ask Wiispy was like if he gets up to any like fun stuff. Hey, Wiispy, are you good?
If you and Wispy can hold down, I don't. Can you hear me? Like, am I coming through clear on your
Yes.
end?
No, I can hear you. No, I just had some internet, not internet, but computer problems. I had to restart my computer. I'm sorry for that.
Nah, you're good. I think we're good though. Like we recorded an hour worth of podcast, so like at as far as I'm concerned, this ending part is like whatever. It'll just be a weird abrupt. I'm sure I could find a way to like edit around this, but like yeah, I was just gonna
Alright,
ask
okay.
though. Like earlier, Wispy was like because you said you were a very social guy. I didn't know if like, but you also sound like you like work constantly. Like you just do all this crazy stuff because your art's just amazing. On top of the fact that you also like do you go out bar hopping, having fun with people? Like what's your thing?
Yeah, I go bar hopping. I have like a group of friends I'm always hanging out with in real life too.
That's nice. That's
So
crazy.
the thing is that I started doing art as a thing that I do personally for me, but on the other hand, everything you like has also like a negative side, and I basically don't have any free time anymore.
Yeah, because as far as I can tell, like you said earlier, like if it's not you're going out gardening, it's you're hanging out with friends, or you're doing art, or you're only spending like 4 hours sleeping. Like if I was in your shoes, I would allocate more time sleeping because I like sleeping. But like, yeah,
Okay.
not to tell you how to live your life. I think you got a pretty good thing going here, especially with how good your art is.
Yeah, I would somehow manage it.
Yeah, just don't burn out too fast.
Nah, won't happen again. Trust me. Sometimes I'm taking breaks now. I learned my lesson.
That's good. But yeah. Well, not to make you burn out, but I know you said earlier like you were gonna do commissions sooner rather than later. Do you want to like promote when you're gonna do commissions, and we could just have that on the podcast? Maybe get some new eyes on you.
Sure. Huh?
Like, when would you say you were gonna start doing commissions?
Oh, in the middle of March.
All right, you hear that? You hear that, people out there on the internet? Wispy's gonna be doing cool stuff in March, and I think by the time this episode comes out, it'll be the start or towards almost the middle of March. So yeah, look out, guys! Look out, people! But yeah, I guess overall, yeah, I think we had a lot of fun. Wispy, you got anything else to say to Wispy, Tom? Or
No, not really. I had also a lot of fun with you, obviously.
yeah, we'd love to have you back on
What's
too.
going on?
Yeah, I know it's kind of short notice, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe next time the fucking internet won't be so fucked up. You know what? Next time you come on, we should do what we did with Joe and do a draw pile.
Yeah, that'd be cool
Yeah,
if you're
sure.
down to do that.
Why not? I would be down for that.
All right, cool. But yeah, I guess that's it. That's all she wrote. I'm gonna stop recording now.